Well guys, I crunched a bunch of numbers, and I ran some reports, and I wrote a few shell scripts, and I came up with some fancy graphics, all so that I could give you this recap of the last year of doing geolocation videos, otherwise known as Season 2. It's sort of like Spotify Wrapped, but for Jose Monkey videos. By the way, did you know that 1 year ago today is when I posted my Season 1 recap? I knew it was roughly a year ago, but I had no idea it was exactly the same day. So that was kind of weird. Anyway, I took a look at the data and I asked my favorite question. So what can we see? Season 2 started with Episode 1 almost a year ago on October 31st, 2023. In that video, I found someone on a highway in Lockhart, Texas. And I wrapped up Season 2 just a few days ago in that multi-part road trip video that I did for Episode 150. In addition to those 150 regular episodes, I also posted 2 failure compilations, and I did 3 geolocation live streams. I also posted a video where I asked you guys to find me back in April. Now, some of you who have been following me for a long time may have noticed that Season 2 included fewer episodes than Season 1. And you may be wondering why that is.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Well, I think there are a bunch of reasons. One of the main reasons is that my videos are a bit longer now than they were in Season 1, because they include a lot more. On average, my videos in Season 1 were about 2 minutes and 46 seconds long, and some of them were significantly shorter. Back when I first started doing this, I was convinced that nobody would ever watch a TikTok that was more than like 60 or 90 seconds long, so I tried to keep my videos really short. Anyway, in Season 2, the average runtime was over 4 minutes in length, with the longest video coming in close to the 10-minute mark. That was Episode 16 in that location in Nigeria. Okay, so what's making these videos longer? It's hard to remember sometimes, but some of the more iconic and fun elements of my videos are things that I didn't even do when I first started. For example, I didn't always include the closest previous location in each video, and I didn't keep track of how long it took me to find each location. I wasn't even doing that at the very start of Season 2. I actually added the whole time to find bit a few episodes into Season 2. I'll come back to that. But also, I honestly think that the locations that I've been finding more recently are much more difficult than the ones I was finding early on. When I look back at some of the Season 1 videos, I feel like they're really easy compared to my more recent finds. So those harder to find locations sometimes require longer explanations. I also found myself going off on a number of side quests in Season 2, trying to answer very silly questions that came up while I was finding people. Like that time my buddy Khan helped me figure out what kind of shirt that person was wearing in Billings, Montana. Another reason the videos are longer is because my buddy Chad here likes to insert himself into the conversation.
Yeah, I'll insert myself.
To add his very insightful commentary, but also throw the occasional penalty flag on people who violate the rules. Okay, enough about how long these videos are. Let's talk about how long it takes to find these places. I took a look at all of the time to find numbers since I started capturing that information, and I found that the average find takes about 51 minutes. But that doesn't really tell the full story, because there are a few outliers in there that significantly skew that number. I have found about 50% of these locations in under 30 minutes, and about 75% of them are found within an hour. 90% of them are found within 2 hours, and 95% within 3 hours. The fastest find this season was one of the ones in the most recent video, which took under 3 minutes to find. And my longest hunt to date was in Season 2, Episode 35, in Sant Antoni de Portmany in Spain. It took me 6 hours and 40 minutes to find that spot. If we exclude some of the outliers that go beyond the 3-hour mark, the distribution of find times looks something like this. If you are a statistics nerd, some of these figures may interest you.
Alright, nerd, enough metadata. Talk about the places you found.
In Season 2, I added 190 new locations to my map. And while most of my videos are still in the US, Season 2 had much greater international representation. In Season 1, 86% of the places I found were in the US. But in Season 2, I more than doubled the ratio of non-US locations, with 63% US locations and 37% non-US. I found 70 different locations outside of the US in Season 2, adding 22 new countries to my list. That brings the total number of countries in which I've found people so far to 54. Many of those new countries were featured during my second ever International Week, because I do non-US locations all the time, so you don't have to wait for the next International Week to see places outside the US. I also did my first ever Canadian Week this season. That featured 10 different locations in Canada, including some provinces and territories that I had not yet found people in. By the way, I have not found anybody in these Canadian provinces or territories, in case you want to send me a video from there. But Season 2 still had plenty of US locations. I found 120 new locations in the United States for Season 2, representing 38 of the 50 states. Yes, I have found someone in every US state. Unfortunately, not all were represented in Season 2. If we look at the states where I found the most people, not too much has changed. In Season 1, these were the states where I had the most locations found. Texas topped the list at 21 locations. And I added locations to each of those states during Season 2, with Texas extending the lead considerably by adding 10 new locations. That of course meant that all these states got shuffled around in the list, including making room for Virginia in the top states. By the way, those numbers for those states are all cumulative for Seasons 1 and 2. Guys, I have had a lot of fun during Season 2, and I can't wait to start Season 3. I really appreciate that I get to keep playing this silly game with you guys, and I really hope that you're enjoying it too. Don't forget that you can always check out the map of all the places I found for you guys so far, and while you're there, maybe go check out my store if you're into that sort of thing. Pick up a Jose Monkey t-shirt.
Or get a sweet hat like your boy Chad.
Anyway, Season 3 is right around the corner. Some folks ask if there would be a break before I start Season 3, but guys, I don't really intend on taking much of a break. Hopefully I'll have Season 3, Episode 1 out for you later this week. Also, more than one person asked me if they needed to submit a new video now that Season 3 is starting. Like they were wondering if I was just going to throw away all the videos that were submitted before Season 3. And as cathartic as it might be to wipe the slate clean and start fresh, essentially dumping the entire kiddie pool, I have no plans to do that. If you're on the list, you're on the list. And the list just keeps getting longer. Anyway, that's all for now, guys. If anybody else wants me to find them, you know what to do.